Hello and welcome. My name is McGible and I'm going to be showing you some ganking around Jita. Welcome to the first video of 2022. First thing you might notice is I have not got my face on the screen. Lucky you. At the moment I am suffering from COVID. I'm on day 10, which means self-isolation is about to finish, but I look truly dreadful, so mask or no mask, the camera's off today. Happy New Year to you, although you could be watching this in July. Such are YouTube algorithms. But it's New Year's Day for me, and I'd like to start off the way I intend to go on with a couple of nice kills, and it'd be nice if we can get them on video. So for about the next hour or so, I'll be letting you sit in while I scan and hopefully shoot ships as they either enter Jita or autopilot out. My setup today is pretty typical. I've got 2 thrashers, slightly different fits, a remote sensor boosting Gnosis, remote tracking as well. My looters today are a Jag. Thrash is in the wrong place. And sitting about 2,000 kilometers off the gate, I also have an Okato. And I'll explain why. I'll go into that. So, eve time at the moment is about 11:30. So downtime finished about half an hour ago. My overview is set up just for corvettes and I'm spamming the lock button. I have my cargo scanner primed and I spam the lock button, so if anything jumps in, be between about 15 and 20 kilometers, then it locks hopefully almost instantly. And that way you can scan and see what's in a corvette and then kill it before it's had a chance to warp off. So all within the space of a couple of seconds. So in order to do that, you need to have your skills, survey, set to 5. That decreases your scanning time. And you need to have some rigs that are set up to allow your ship to scan quicker as well. Specifically cargo scanning. And we're not talking about probe scanning here. Now if you want to see details of the fits, I've got some news for you. In fact, if you want to see a lot more about what McGible does, there's a new website, McGible.com, which has got fits, kills, blog posts, videos, all sorts of things. It's got all the latest kills, it's got the big kills, it's got details of the Thrasher fits, it'll have details of the escape ship fits, my looters, and blog posts about techniques and what have you. So the kills on it go back about generally the kills over 250 mil go back to about the beginning of November 2021. So about 2 months worth of kills over 250 million. And then the bigger kills for last year, I've taken them back to April. So by bigger kills I mean over 2 or 3 billion. Or over 5 billion, I can't remember. Thank you for everyone who's been viewing the videos, subscribing. If you subscribe, I will make more content. And if I get a decent amount of subscribers, I'll start doing live streams. So I'd like to ask your opinion on this. Just get these ships out of the way. Live streaming. So there seems to be 2 options. There's Twitch and then there's YouTube. And the fact that you're watching this on YouTube might mean that YouTube's a more attractive option for streaming, but I'd like to ask you if you've streamed in the past or if you like to watch live streams, What's the best platform in your opinion? Would it be YouTube or would it be Twitch? I'd really like to know. If you'd like to subscribe to me on Twitch, I am there, although I've only streamed in an experimental sense so far, but if there's more of an appetite for live streams to be on Twitch rather on YouTube, then I'll consider doing it then. But if you could leave a comment and let me know which is the best in your opinion. If you see the occasional edit in this video, it could be just because I'm cutting out the coughs that I'm occasionally doing. Sorry about that. So lots of comments on the previous YouTube videos, which is fantastic. Lots of questions as well, and I've taken a note of the questions. I'm going to try and answer them as we do this video. A little Merlin. A Merlin. Mining Merlin. Fantastic. I should shoot him in principle. Okay. So I actually did make an hour-long video yesterday. And went to edit it today and found out that it didn't work. Which is nice. Didn't get any decent kills until the moment that I stopped recording, and then I got this kill, which is just a couple of wee skill extractors. But when you're scanning and you see the word skill, it lights off something in the brain. And unfortunately there's been a new item which is like a beginner's skill injector introduced, which is only about 500 skill points. It's practically worthless. But unfortunately the part of my brain that registers skill injectors still tells me to shoot at these bloody things. I've lost a couple of thrashes to that impulse. Yilvin, you've got nothing for me, mate. That's no good. So first question, left as a comment on a video by Exeter Nardu. Is, do you find a single thrasher can take down a low tanked interceptor or T1 frigate with a single shot? I know your overview was only corvettes, but it seemed like you were interested in more than that. I am interested in more than corvettes. The reason I've got my overview set up just for corvettes is because that's what I want to catch when they jump in. I've had quite a bit of success with frigates, but they tend to be frigates that have jumped in and then not moved, or frigates that are autopiloting towards me. So your question is, can I take down a low tanked interceptor or T1 frigate with a single shot? And the answer is yes, but generally interceptors, 2 thrashes for an interceptor, 3 if it's tanked. But when I'm scanning here, I'm not scanning for fits, there's just not the time to do it. So I actually got a Dramiel with 1 shot over 2k alpha. I'll put the kill mail up on the screen. And that was a fantastic result, but very definitely unusual. That wouldn't normally happen at all. So there are some T1 frigates that you can kill with 1 thrasher. It tends to be the Explorer frigates. They're not very well tanked. But things like Tristans, Slashers, you're talking about looking at probably 2 thrashers. Although there's a fit that New Eden Police Force use on Slashers that they just melt. You can alpha them with a thrasher. But generally, you're looking at 2 thrashes for, I would say, most of the T1 frigates. And that's probably down to the fact that the fit that I'm using doesn't have damage rigs on the Thrasher. My other Thrasher does have damage rigs, and obviously as a result of that, it can bring down more T1 Thrashers. But the focus with the setup I've got with this Thrasher is get it locked and get it scanned as quickly as possible. And then the DPS that I've got on this fit will be enough to kill a Corvette within 20 kilometers. So it's compromising slightly on the damage output, but there's a good reason for it. This is a very focused fit. Hey Hey Rooster, who's my second Thrasher, does have damage mods because I'm not using him to do the quick scans. So if I get a pirate frigate, faction frigate, or T1 frigate autopiloting towards me, I've got time to scan it and shoot it with both Hey Hey and Magaibo. It will get probably about 80% of frigates. Pirate frigates, like I say, I got the Dramiel, but that was quite unusual. Something like a succubus, you probably need 3. Anything with a decent tank may well survive. One of the downsides of this time of year is you do get people hanging around the gates because they want to hit you with snowballs. Oh damn, look at that. Oh, now that would have been nice. I didn't get him originally because I'd clicked on the other Corvette that was there, the one that was hanging around at the gate. So, right, people hanging around at the gates because they get SP for firing snowballs. So people think, oh, I'll just go to the gate and shoot NPCs or pilots there, whatever the challenge is for that day. So this chap had the Astero skin. Skins are hit and miss. I mean, that shows up as 190,000, but the values on the scans are quite accurate. The values on kill mails and lost mails are absolutely dreadful. But it says 195,000. That's 195,000 or 190,000 sell price. And if you want to bother with putting things on the market, then yeah, you may get something for it. But if you're just looking to go to the station and sell stuff, you have to be aware that skins are worth a lot less. So look, hardly anyone's buying this skin. So people haven't just been asking questions, they've actually been leaving comments and advice and abuse. Not very much abuse. I was surprised, I thought I might get more, but some of the advice has turned out to be quite useful. One of the last videos I did had me going to Jan, Concord Station in Jan, to fix my security status by handing in tags. And to return to Cheetah, I undocked and then self-destructed, which took 2 minutes. Someone's pointed out to me you can self-destruct in the station by selecting Clone Bay, going to the home page, and then select self-destruct, and it's instant. Thank you very much for that. Another hint that somebody left me, which turned out to be very useful, is that there is a keybind shortcut for customizable hotkey for unlock all targets. Oh, I got bumped. Idiots and stabbers. Okay. This happened yesterday as well. Anti-gankers, people who like to go bowling. But there's a very easy way to make them lose their interest. And that is not make yourself a static target. So I've jettisoned a piece of ammo. I'm just going to orbit that at 500. Which does horrendous things to your tracking, but right now the alternative is to be repeatedly knocked 30-40 kilometers off the gate. So, is he still there? He's gone. So that's me back in position after that stabber give me a little bump. And I could probably stop my other thrasher from orbiting. Orbiting's a good way of getting rid of people who want to bump you, because they'll miss. They'll take a long run up and then they'll miss. It does play merry hell with your tracking, but it's a small price to pay. You can still probably scan. And kill what you need to. It's just not the best way of working. A couple of comments from people on YouTube, Noob3 every time and Eric T43 asking about copycats and thieves. There has been a number of people turning up in light of seeing the videos that I've posted, and they've told me this and wanting to give it a shot themselves. Some of them successful, a couple of them turning up without loot ships, so literally just a Mola to smart bomb something, or a Thrasher just to randomly shoot. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And if you are going to do that, and that's up to you, please don't then yell at me in a chat that... What's going on here? If you are going to do that, don't yell at me in a chat, "Oh, I've shot something, come and get my loot," which has happened a couple of times. Being targeted by a Praxis, he is yellowboxing me. I don't think I've got any cheap kill rates on me. Let's have a look. 300 mil. Okay. You know what? If you want to pay that much to kill me, I'll let you. So, copycats and thieves. Yes to the copycats. And thieves as well. Yep, I've had a couple of problems with thieves. Some of them quite ingenious. There was one pilot was sitting a couple of thousand kilometers off the gate in a Sunesis, cloaked, and I believe he had a script running, meaning he wasn't operating the ship manually. He was using an outside piece of software that was running a script that said something like, if someone goes criminal and then a wreck is there, walk down to it. Because I was online from, I don't know, maybe could have had been logged in for 10 hours or so. Not necessarily always active, but could have been there for 10 hours. And whenever I took a shot, he jumped down. So I don't believe that 10 hours he was actively looking at his screen, ready to shoot down. warp down whenever I killed somebody. And he did get one kill, he got a couple of billion of my loot, but then I changed things around. You have to adapt. Probably adapt more with the looter than any other ship. So I swapped out the T1 frigate that I had, or an interceptor I think I was using, and swapped it out for a Jag. Now the advantage of the Jaguar is that it has so many mid slots, so I was able to put in a couple of scrams and a couple of webs. So if he was to warp down and go active, he would be trapped, and then I would be able to kill him with a combination of the Jaguar and the Thrashes. So when I brought the Jaguar out, about a day or two later, he messaged me and then he stopped. He's moved on. So as with all of the challenges here, you have to be flexible in how you're going to have your stuff set up, because you're going to meet new challenges. When I first started out, I was one Thrasher and one Imicus, maybe? Just a ship that can get there pretty quickly, have a decent sized cargo bay, cheap to lose, and warp off. But that was back when there wasn't a limit on warp core stabilizers and they were passive mods. Now that there's a limit on warp core stabilizers and they're active, it's slightly different. But it's just another challenge. There are far worse problems with thieves on this station, and I'll show you them before the end of the video. There are about 5 or 6 characters, all with the same surname. It's the Furies, and the Furies are fully automated in that the person who runs the account isn't even anywhere near the laptop when his ships are active. So he's got ships that sit at the docking point at Cheetah and on the undock, and if a ganker kills something, it scoops the loot and docks far quicker than any human could do it. The guy behind it doesn't hide the fact that he uses the scripts. He has shared that information with other gankers, given them hints, told them how he does it, and even programmed it so other gankers that he's previously been in co-ops with, it doesn't steal their loot. But I tend to avoid the station because you can't compete with that. CCP are aware of this. They, to date, haven't done anything about it. Oh, a little autopiloting shuttle. I don't know if you've noticed here, but there's a Velotor that's warped to the gate at 100 and then is moving away, which means he's setting bookmarks. Let's just have a little look at him. So if so he's warped to the gate from one of the stations at 100, and now he's making his way out. He'll stop at over 150 because that's a warp point, and start setting bookmarks. Okay. Next question was from Please Mind the Gap, who says, can you do an overview of your alts skills? I've touched on that a little bit there. earlier with talking about the different ship types that I've used in the past for my looter. You want to be able to get to your loot fast. You want to be able to use inertia stabilizers so you don't overshoot the loot, and or if you do, you can get back to it fairly quickly. If you're going to use your looter like I do, and also in a form of defense, you're obviously going to need your gunnery skills as well. But really, you could be using a day one ult for a looter. Just get your support skills in place to be able to fit. I guess the essentials would be warp core stabilizer. Micro warp drive is probably the first thing you're going to need to train up for, and then you want to leave your micro warp drive on all the time, so you need to get your capacitor skills up, and your MWD micro warp drive skills to be using less of that cap as well. It's a fairly disposable character. You want to be able to fly something that's easily replaceable. Now, my other looter, slightly different. Now I've got two looters here. Here's the scenario. I'm in the Jaguar, or I'm in my looter, I'm in my T1 looter, whatever. Picks up the loot, instantly goes suspect, which means anyone else can shoot him, scram him, make life difficult for him. So my other looter is in an Okator, if you see it, all the way up there. DST. Now the reason he's in a DST aligned to the gate from a couple of thousand kilometers away is that if I kill something, I want him to warp to the wreck at the same time as I want my looter to get to the wreck. And the reason for that is the DST has got a fleet hangar in it. And what a fleet hangar can do is take loot from other characters in the fleet. So the game mechanics are that if I use the Jaguar, if the Jaguar, the wreck and the DST are all right next to each other, and the DST has got the fleet hangar open, then I can scoop the loot from the wreck and put it directly into the DST's fleet hangar, and the DST will not go suspect. The Jaguar will go suspect because that's the pilot that stole the loot, but he scoops it into the fleet hangar. The DST, the pilot, the ship is not suspect, and it's safe. So what he can do at that point is just go and dock with the loot, perfectly safe. And then the loot pilot who is suspect, can just warp off and get himself safe at that point. That is why I say that the ship has to be relatively disposable. So you want to be able to factor in these costs when you're looking at targets. You need to be thinking not just, oh, this costs more than my Thrasher. You've got to factor in the costs of security tags to fix your security status, of ships that you're going to lose in the future because people activate kill rights and kill you. You need to be able to factor in the cost of your loot ship. Plus you want to be making a profit. You need to factor in the cost of paying for your game time. So in that respect, the looter in the DST has obviously got much higher skills. It's quite quiet. This is 12:04 Eve time. Things tend to pick up probably in about 5 hours time, when there's a combination of late Euro or mid Euro and early US time zones. $12 mil. I suppose the fun thing about doing this live, if I was streaming it, is that you're going to get anti-ganker groups turning up to try and dispose of you. Which is fine. It's all part of the fun. I've got a hanger full of thrashes. And they've got to be used. Question from McToby or MC Toby: is this fake? Nope, it's very real. If you'd like to swing by with an ibis full of skill injectors, we'll get very real very quickly. Question from Parashkev Dragonov. It's a question that's made me wonder if he's actually watched the videos. It's, do I loot the stuff that I shoot? Yes, Parashkev, I loot the stuff that I shoot. I was running with 3 thrashes a couple of days ago, but it's not something that can really be done when I'm wanting to record at the same time. Not focusing at all here. November was a big month for kills. Got a ridiculous amount of skill injectors and whatnot in November. December less so. December was pretty poor month. Poor pilots. For me. But then I did see that there was a couple of other pilots. I think there was 2 or 3 other kills that I saw in Jita where there was in excess of 40. One kill was in excess of 40 skill injectors on board, and the other 2 kills had in excess of 70 skill injectors on board. So that's made me think that there's still kills to be had out there. Remember, tag the ships that you've scanned so you don't keep going back to them. So I remove ships that I don't want, corvettes that I don't want. Now, that was interesting. This is my other thrasher. And the previous corvette showed up in the overview behind than it did on my one. So what I'm going to do is just jump through the gate and then jump back again. And the reason for this is there's a really interesting blog post that somebody did which looked into the order in which ships get updated on a grid. And he did experiments. What he was trying to do was lock shuttles with an Astero in nullsec, and he noticed just like that there seemed to be a queue, an order in which ships were updated, and you could manipulate where your ship sat in that order by doing a kind of session change. So either docking and undocking, or jumping to one system and then back again. Seemed to shuffle around the order in which the ships got updated. So my second pilot, Hey Hey Rooster, got updated quicker than Magaibo did there. And it could be things aren't going that smoothly at the moment, and that could just be because I've got 4 clients running. while I'm doing a recording. Right. Another hint as well that I learned was this: Control Shift F9. So if you've got like a crappy laptop like I have, and you're wanting to run multiple Omega clients, then if you do Control Shift and F9, it shuts off the 3D graphics. Which makes things a lot smoother on your laptop. Or a little bit smoother. But it does make it, I mean, that looks like asteroids. So I am going to turn it off on this for a little while. And things improve drastically, so it's not the sexiest looking game in the world, it's when you do it like this. But you get a significant performance increase. So I mentioned the website that I'd started up, magaibo.com. I'm going to be doing giveaways. I'm going to check with CCP that I'm allowed to run a free giveaway to win in-game items. That's the first thing I'm going to be doing. The second thing is offering up a sponsorship deal whereby you donate ISK to Magaibo and I will name my thrashers after you. Okay, so let's get into position, let's get into place, let's get ready for corvettes that are jumping through. This might be a good thing to do when I'm live streaming because it'll give me a chance to chat, because you get lots of quiet time, downtime. Who are you? Oh, Ibis Autopiloter. There is a Ganking community that's sprung up, not just around Jita, but other places as well. And we do talk to each other and share stories and kill mails and fits and intel. And some of that intel is about other gankers who are known to be loot thieves themselves as well. So it's quite a useful little community to be part of. Some of the other gankers are engaging in completely different sort of ganking. So generally there's a couple of different sorts of gankers, or they can be split into two categories. One of them is alpha gankers, which is what I am doing here, and it tends to be what tornadoes do as well. So I am looking for small ships that I will kill in one shot, and that's what I mean by an alpha ganker. You will get it in your first shot. The others, and tornadoes are the same, they'll be trying to shoot T1 industrials or blockade runners with one shot. And the reason that you have to do it in one shot is because I'm in 0.9 security space, or if I go into perimeter it's 1.0 security space, and I'm operating on a gate. And what that means is there are gate guns and there are Concorde, and they are very, very quick to react in very high security space. So I've got one shot. Concorde won't stop me from making that one shot. So you're no safer to me whether Concorde are sitting right on me or not. If Concorde kill me after I've taken my one shot, that's absolutely fine because I've already done the thing that I want to do. Whereas the other sorts of gankers use multiple shots and multiple ships. So they could be trying to shoot freighters in 0.5, 0.6 space, or the other particularly talented ones are the ones that shoot very expensive ships that are coming out of abyssal space dead sites. So they could be shooting ships that have got bling fits, 2 or 3 billion. And there was a bit of a debate with CCP and GMs and these gankers a few weeks back because of one of the techniques that these use to what's known as pull Concord. Now, when they're operating in 0.5 and 0.6 security space, Concord has got a much slower reaction time. You could be talking 40-45 seconds before Concord turns up. And they factor that in to when they're doing their kills. So the way around it was to pull Concord to a different part of a system from where you intended to do your kill. And the way that you do that, well, there's a couple of different ways. You could bring out an ult and just get them to shoot another pilot. Or you can bring out an ult that's got a security status of -9, -10 and just have him undock. And Concord will go there to the station to kill him, leaving your gankers at the gate free to do what they want to do. You still got gate guns, but gate guns aren't as potent, they aren't as bad as Concord. You can get a couple of shots off with gate guns. Now, it wasn't just gankers that were pulling Concord. Miners were doing it as well, because if miners are mining in a belt and Concord are already in the belt, then that's security for them, if anyone wants to come along and gank the miners. So this has been used for many years by gankers. And then one GM gave one of the gankers who used this technique an immediate lifelong ban for pulling Concord in this way. And shortly after that, another GM said, no, that's actually allowed. And then there was a bit of toing and froing until CCP made an announcement on the CCP forums, the EVE Online forums, that it was considered an exploit and it would result in an immediate ban. And it must have been less than an hour later that a further post came out saying actually it's the complete opposite. It was at this moment not considered to be an exploit and you could continue to do it. So that cleared that up. So that's the two different sorts really. Is if I redock in this ship, it means I've done something, things haven't gone to plan. And then the other ones are, I mean, there's a series of gankers who go under the names of the customs officials, and there's about 30-40 of those, using small ships to kill freighters, just in the sheer amount of numbers of people that are of pilots causing that much DPS, they're killing freighters. One of the problems that these gankers are now facing is that there is a Twitch channel that's dedicated to letting people know when these gankers are active, and that is causing a lot of problems for the gankers. But like I said earlier, you've got to adapt. You're going to have to try a different tactic, because there's always a way. There are always people flying stuff that can be taken. Apologies for the cuts. I am officially on my last day of self-isolation today from COVID, but I've still got a bit of a cough. And I don't think that would make a great soundtrack for the video. give it a wee bit longer. I'll do the normal YouTube thing of saying please like, please subscribe. If I get a decent amount of subscribers, we will go live. I've got over 300 now, which doesn't sound like an awful lot, but I'm really appreciative of it. It's more than I thought I would get. And the website, give it another plug, mcgaibo.com. I've also got McGaibo on Twitter. And I've been posting little kill videos on TikTok, God forgive me. Some people asking about the music that's in the background. It comes from an alternative EVE Online soundtrack album called Capsuleers, which was on the EVE Online forums. I'll put a link to that. I'm sorry I've not been able to get any kind of kill whatsoever for you. I'm curious as to the thousands of times that this has been watched. What are the circumstances under which you're watching this right now? Do you have this on in the background while you're playing EVE yourself? Are you watching this on the go? Let me know. You can email me at ganker@mcgaibo.com. You can message me in game. Lots of people have been messaging, saying how much they like the videos. Thank you very much, that is really kind. Keep your questions coming. I've noticed a decrease in the amount of stuff being flown through this gate that I could reasonably pop, and I wonder if even in some small way the videos that I've posted have harmed my chances here by raising awareness of my existence. So, like I say, gankers have to adapt. I'm going to have to move to a different gate. Noticed more traffic coming through the new Caldari gate. It could be that other ships are going that way. Nyabanan gate as well, which you can get to through perimeter, so it could be just one more extra step people are taking to avoid me. That's fine. Oh, that's interesting. Miasmos is getting scanned, and it's on the New Caldari gate. Okay, let's go and see what's going on there. Okay, it's over there. Oh, it's almost dead. 77 million. It's not really worth it. This will be war deckers here. Black Flag. So Black Flag are operating off of this gate. I've seen it a few times recently, not so much on the perimeter gate, but the other gates round and about the perimeter gate. Black Flag are a corp, an alliance that war deck other corps. And they're good at what they do, which is war deck innocent people and shoot them when they have no idea of the game mechanics. So Black Flag are terrible at scooping the loot. So anyone who wants to can follow them around and scoop the loot and make a little profit. What I keep an eye out for in particular is ships that come to this gate, jump through, and then return a second or two later, because that tends to mean that they've maybe gone to the Tranquility Trading Tower in Perimeter and bought something there, and then they're coming back through. And that could be high value items, it could be skill injectors, it does happen. I think I've got about a 50-50 rate recently of decent kills from ships that are autopiloting in and ships that are jumping in through the gate. It's crazy to think that people are autopiloting at all, never mind with large cargoes. Oh, I'm getting bumped again. Who's back? Who's it this time? He can hit the Jaguar all he wants. Jaguar's got a micro warp drive. We'll be back before you know it. I don't understand the bumping game. The bumping thing's it's a zero-win game, isn't it? I mean, it is one of these even anomalies that no matter how hard you run your ship into anything, it won't actually cause any damage. But EVA's got its unique take on a lot of physics anyway. Like slowing down in space if you stop accelerating. But we all love it. So I know in the start of the last video that I did, I managed to kill and get a large skill injector. Not had anything like that today, unfortunately. But ganking it's like fishing. It's relaxing. Sometimes you catch something, sometimes you don't. Well, again, I apologise for not being able to bring you a big kill, but to be fair, that's more your fault than mine. You haven't brought anything worth killing. It doesn't look like anything's happening, so I'm going to wrap it up. Which inevitably means that after I press stop recording, someone turns up with a cargo full of skill injectors. Hopefully. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, visit magaibo.com, sign up to the mailing list, and I'll start some giveaways as soon as CCP say that that's alright. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Feel free to message me in game. If you want to sponsor a Thrasher, send through ISK and I'll name the Thrashers after you. So thanks for watching, and fly safe, but not too safe.